Am I the asshole for showing up to guys' night after my husband didn't come home when he said he would? My husband has been hanging out with his guy friends every weekend for about a month. It generally doesn't bother me at all, but lately he has been saying, quote, I will be home after this beer. And that one beer turns into 6, and him coming home in an Uber around 3 to 4 a.m. And well, I want to hang out with my husband. There's never any ill blood or fighting about it. I know he needs his friends as we are currently going through a stressful time and he needs to decompress. However, when he went out on Saturday, I told him, quote, if you aren't home by 8, I'm coming to find your ass. He laughed, said he would be home by 8, and that was it. Well, by 9, he still wasn't home. I knew this was going to happen, so I planned it all out. I'd already gone to the store and picked up a 30 rack, and this is actually kind of embarrassing, but I threw on some of his clothes, put my hair up, and put a hat on to make myself look more manly, and headed over to his buddy's house, where I knew he was. When I walked through the door, my husband starts dying laughing and bear hugs me. His buddies, I'm close to 3 of them, were also heavily amused and thanked me for the beer. There was no issue there. However, one of the guys that I don't know all that well lives next door, and his wife came over livid at like 2 a.m. and starts scolding him about being out so late, etc., etc. They have a baby at home, so it's 100% understandable. As soon as she saw me standing there, shit hit the fan even more. She started accusing him of lying about it, being guys' night. I did interject and say that I actually invited myself after my own husband didn't come home when he said, but she just put her hand up to me and told her husband to get home. I thought that would be the end of it, but my husband actually got a text from this guy yesterday saying that me showing up caused serious issues in his marriage and that next time he should tell me to, quote, stay the fuck home. My husband obviously laughed it off and said it isn't my fault there's issues in their marriage and that he was amused by me showing up. But now I feel utterly terrible. Am I the asshole?
No, I don't think so.
Bro.
No, like that is a personal issue between them and their marriage. This clearly isn't the first time something like this has happened. I mean, I wouldn't think you would have that reaction.
No, it sounds like this is kind of an issue. It sounds like this is kind of an issue for all these guys. Like they're all hanging out together every weekend, not going home when they say they're going home. Yeah. So it sounds like a group issue. And this guy that's got the new baby is 100% in the wrong. Trigger warning, incest, talks of incest.
Actually, I can't hear this one. Bye.
I, 20 female, hooked up with my stepbrother, 20 male, and I'm completely panicking. I'm 20 female, and my stepbrother is also 20 male. He's 5 months older. Our parents only got married a few years ago, so we only lived in the same house for 1 year. We weren't very close at all, more like awkward acquaintances, but we went to the same college. It's a small college near our town where basically everyone goes who stays in the area. We both are in the business school, and so we're in a lot of the same classes and activities, so we ended up having similar friends. We got closer as friends / siblings while in school, though my best friend is my roommate. We were all at a bar last Saturday, and my stepbrother was being really nice after a guy I was supposed to meet up with never showed. He kept buying me drinks and laughing at my jokes, and I was a little too drunk, and I kissed him. He seemed really into it, and we went back to his place and had...
What?
It was...
What? I'm sorry. No. Pause the fucking phone line.
No. Ready?
No.
Ready?
Are you ready? They kissed in public and not a single fucking person said anything like, bro, you're making out with your stepsister? You're telling me that they did this in public and then said, yeah, let's go back somewhere private? And no one said a fucking word. I'm repulsed.
So...
Oh my God.
It goes from... And we went back to his place and had... The next line, it was really good.
No! Female 20. No.
And he was complimenting me so much.
No!
And I was kind of bummed for a minute that he's not like some random guy. But then the second it was over and I left, I haven't answered his text since. And I've been nauseous ever since. I literally feel like the grossest person in the world. I don't know if I just initiated this because no one here has really liked me and I was feeling desperate or what. I feel so guilty and I don't know if I should tell my mom or block him or what. I'm going back and forth between having an anxiety attack and remembering like things about him what the fuck? I don't know if I should transfer. Sorry for the rant. I'm in such a tailspin. Should I cut him off? Tell my mom? Pretend it never happened and just distance myself? Try to go back to being friends? Question mark. Help.
Girl, we need help. We need professional help after hearing that.
Okay, let's get back into this update. You all made me realize the big issue isn't that we're step siblings because it's not blood, but that if it goes badly, we will be in each other's lives forever. I went to the class that we're in together this morning. I skipped it on Monday because I was freaking out. And after we talked, he seemed really nervous and stressed and was worried that I wasn't okay. I told him how much I was freaking out. I even told him about this post. Haha. I asked him and he admitted that he did have feelings for me, but was never going to act on them and was shocked when I kissed him. I didn't tell him anything about my feelings, but said I appreciated his honesty, but it can't happen again. He was okay with that and basically said he'll do whatever I want going forward.
What a little simp.
I'm a little bummed because I wish that he was a regular person, as in my good friend not living in my house during winter break, and I could give it a shot. Part of the reason I think I avoided answering him for so long. He's one of the kindest people I know, and I'm obviously attracted to him. But the comments have solidified for me that it's not worth it to hurt my mom and potentially cause a rift in my family forever.
That's the concern.
Not when we can stop right now and stay friends. Some people were saying to just be friends with benefits, but I think we're way too close for that, and it would turn into dating, so it wouldn't work. I do know this will probably be an issue with anyone else we date. However, I think it would have been an issue anyways. We hang out a lot. He's always doing things to help me, picking me up at night, opening doors for me, etc. And obviously some of that will have to stop if either of us start dating someone else. For now, we agreed to just stay friends like before and see how things go. As far as my mom goes, she really pushes for us to be a family. My dad isn't in the picture, and my stepdad has kind of taken on the role of dad with my siblings. I don't think of him as my dad, but they do send me money every month, come visit me at school, and pay for my apartment. So I'm not exactly a full adult either, free to just completely make my own choices. And for the people saying he got me drunk and took advantage of me, we were at a college bar. Everyone was drunk. He was the same level as me, and I wasn't so drunk that I couldn't remember everything, so I don't think that's the case. For people saying it's fake, it's not. There's plenty of comments showing how this happens more than I realized, and if it was, I'm sure this update would be more exciting. LOL. We're going to see how it goes. We're acting normal for now. I'll update this update, haha, if anything major happens.
I've been mouth breathing for like 5 minutes. My jaw has just been open.
I gotta go follow this account. Am I the asshole for peeing in the cat tray?
Wow, we've all been there.
Okay, so this is weird, and I'm using a throwaway because this is so embarrassing. Me, 29 female, and my partner, 25 male, have been dating for 3 years and lived together for one of those years. We live in a small, one-bedroom flat that has one bedroom with our 2 cats. I am a diabetic, and I'm on a number of medications. One of them really flushes sugar straight through my system and can make me pee a lot. I can go from not feeling like I need to pee to if I don't pee in the next 20 minutes, I'll pee myself. It comes on suddenly sometimes. My boyfriend has IBS, and he can spend 40 minutes in the bathroom easily sometimes. This hasn't been a problem thus far. Today, though, he had a bad IBS moment, and after 40 minutes locked in the bathroom, I felt that I needed to pee. I figured he wouldn't be very long since he'd already been in there 40 minutes. I knocked on the door and let him know I needed to pee and asked how long he would be. He said he'd be a few minutes. Okay, no problem. 20 minutes later, so he's been in there an hour at this point, I'm kind of doing the potty dance a little and knock on the door again. He's gonna be a few more minutes. I tell him I'm not gonna be able to hold it much longer, and if he could just unlock the door, I'll just hop in the shower. He
I think that's a
says
good idea. No.
he says he can't get off the toilet right now. Okay, fair enough. Another 15 minutes go by, and my bladder is starting to hurt, and he hasn't flushed or anything yet. I figure, fuck it. My bladder hurts, and I'm bursting, and I figured the cats would forgive me. We have 2 litter trays, one in the bathroom and one in a nook in the corridor. I pop a squat over the litter tray in the corridor and have a tinkle and use a kitchen towel to wipe. I then bag up the litter tray and completely refresh it. He comes out another 10 minutes later and says the bathroom's free. And I tell him it's fine. He gives me a funny look, and I tell him what I did. He looks at me absolutely disgusted and says, that is revolting. I tell him I'd rather just refresh the litter tray, which takes seconds, than piss myself and have to do a ton of washing. He hasn't spoken to me all evening, and he says I can't believe I would do something so gross. I tried to tell him a number of times I really needed to go, and he said I should learn to hold it better. This has kind of left me feeling like I'm the asshole.
Well, when you move, you need to find somewhere with 2 bathrooms.
Dump the boyfriend and you'll have the whole bathroom all to yourself.
He needs to light it up.
So, trigger warning for my friends out there that can't handle poop stories. This is your time to tune out. So, this is titled, I, quote, accidentally shit the bed in front of my boyfriend. Warning, don't read this if you have problems with feces and that kind of shit. Someone told me that I should share this embarrassing story, so here we go. Me, female 18, had just gotten into a relationship with my new sweet boyfriend, male 20. A little info about me, I have a chronic stomach wound, which pops up whenever I'm really stressed. The relationship was very new, so we were both still quite shy. We had just gotten comfortable enough farting in front of each other though, and often made a joke out of it. About a month into our relationship, I had to go to the hospital with my stomach wound. I was there for a week, and he was super supportive the whole time. When I finally got home from the hospital, my body was so weak. I wasn't allowed to drink or eat anything the whole week because of the tests they had to do. Therefore, my body had pretty much shut down. Nothing had come in, so nothing was coming out. I got prescribed some laxatives that I took. Never having taken them before, I didn't know what to expect, but it definitely wasn't this. We were laying in bed. I was on my side looking at my phone, and he was half sitting up on bed playing RuneScape on his laptop in front of me. I could feel a fart coming, so I looked up into his eyes with a smirk face expression and said, quote, I'm shitting. I meant to say, quote, I'm farting, but the words came out wrong, and so did something else. The moment I said it, I let it all out, still with a smirk face expression, looking him right in the eyes.
Oh, God.
You could hear a wet, bubbly sound, and I knew instantly what had happened. My smile faded and my face turned to horror. My hand flew down to stop the flow, but it was too late. My boyfriend jumped up and ran to the toilet to bring me paper, helped me clean up while laughing hysterically.
What a good lad.
I was so embarrassed that I couldn't even say anything. Later, when we sat and talked, he told me it was one of the most intimidating things he had ever experienced. The way I looked him right in the eyes, he had never felt so dominated in his life. Quote, like a monkey shitting in its hands and throwing it. Needless to say, we got very quickly comfortable with intimate things like that after this. Even though we've broken up since then, and it's been a few years, I'm to this day still just as embarrassed.
I was going to say this guy's a keeper. If he
I
laughed
was
it
literally
off.
like, this is true love. Okay, so this next one does contain talks of miscarriage. Am I the asshole for just posting my wife miscarried on my mom's social media after she announced our pregnancy? My wife was pregnant with our first child. We weren't telling anyone yet because it was early. My mom was over at our house and noticed some obvious clues of pregnancy. She asked about it and we were honest. We also asked her to please respect our wishes and not go telling people because it was early in the pregnancy and we wanted time to ourselves to absorb it. The pregnancy was unplanned but welcome. My mom lasted 2 weeks before she started posting about becoming a grandmother. We hadn't told her yet we had lost the baby. I was still feeling dead inside when I saw her post, so I just commented that, quote, Elise miscarried a week ago. I guess it took about an hour for my mom to see the comment and delete her post. We have been getting condolences, which we don't want, and my mom has been getting crapped on by family and friends for being so insensitive. She is mad at me for not telling her that we had lost her grandchild. I think I was an asshole because I replied that I didn't want her blabbing my family's personal life again. She is crying, and my dad says that I have every right to be upset, but that I could have been nicer. I'm just so angry right now. I don't know how to feel. Am I the asshole?
What do you think?
No. Like, this person's mom completely disrespected them, went against what they asked. You know, they said, hey, we're not ready to share. We want time to absorb it. Waited 2 weeks and then goes on Facebook.
Yeah.
Fuck you. This is not your news to share. I carried my own poop in my bag for nearly 10 miles.
What an interesting time to take a sip of a freshly opened LaCroix.
When I, 23 female, was 18, I had a summer job working as a cashier at a large supermarket. I spent most of my nights at my boyfriend's parents' home in a smaller town about a 20-minute drive away. And one morning, he wanted to wake and bake, and he didn't have work until the evening. And as I didn't have work until just after midday, I thought, fuck it, I'm going to do what Chris did and take a hit in the studio.
I was trying to be so slick, not get you demonetized. I'm like doing downward dog under the table, just trying to get a puff.
So we hit the bong and then went to the kitchen to have a full English breakfast. As I was
This is like
finishing...
my dream morning routine.
That sounds great.
A full English breakfast. By the way, those get shit on way too much. Those beans, phenomenal.
She says that. As I was finishing off my baked beans, I saw the time and realized I had just over 10 minutes to get the bus home and in time for work. So I ran to get my things and quickly used the bathroom. Turns out I needed the biggest shit of my life, which was refusing to flush down his tiny ass toilet. I was running out of time till my bus and I had to think fast. My first thought was to wrap it in a toilet roll, which was a huge fail as it just absorbed the water and stuck to the poo. Yes, I had to pick it up with my hands.
Ooh.
I was planning to wrap it up and put it in the bin next to the toilet.
Did she just not want to like have her boyfriend see her shit?
Yeah, but I immediately realized how disgusting that would have been. Next, I thought I should throw it out the window. But what if it lands in the gutter? His bedroom is in the attic. Or even if it didn't, someone in his family would just go out there and just find a human poo on the garden floor. I was really starting to panic at this point, as I was so close to missing the bus, which would have meant being late for work. I was high as fuck, so I was freaking out even more than I usually would.
Oh my God.
And I couldn't think of any way out of the situation. When I checked my phone, I had no time left, so I grabbed a t-shirt out of my bag, one of my favorites, RIP, wrapped it around the giant shit and with wet toilet paper stuck to it, and ran downstairs to find my boyfriend waiting to say goodbye. He was probably wondering what was taking me so long. There was no way I'd be giving him a hug and a kiss with a whole poop in my bag, so I ran out the door shouting how I was going to miss my bus and reached the bus stop, which was fortunately right outside his house. Now, it was a sunny, hot day in July. I had a fat shit in my bag and I was stood at the bus stop baked as a cake, freaking out about how everyone on the bus is going to think I smell of shit.
Yeah.
And how it's just going to cook in my bag because it was already so hot and the little bus will be like an oven.
But also, a t-shirt isn't like a plastic bag. It's just gonna get wet and shit covered and stain everything in your bag.
Yeah, you should have just asked for a plunger.
You should have just said, babe, take care of it.
There was no way to discard my poop while I waited for the bus, and I barely had a minute till it arrived, so I couldn't just chuck a t-shirt full of poop outside my boyfriend's parents' home. And even if I did, my boyfriend would have known it was my t-shirt, and God forbid, pick it up thinking I dropped it by accident, ... So I get on the hot, sweaty bus, high, paranoid, and certain everyone could smell the shit in my bag. And now I'm wondering how I'm going to talk to my mom when I get home when I'm super blazed and smell like shit. I get home and run straight upstairs and shout down that I'm going to be late for work. I jump in the shower, put on my uniform, and I'm immediately out the door, barely speaking to my mom. The supermarket I work at is about a 30-minute uphill walk from my house. I'm still high. It's really hot outside. And as I'm 10 minutes into the walk, I realize I still have a fucking shit in my handbag. My own fucking shit in my fucking handbag. I was so determined to avoid my mom and get to work, my high ass didn't even think to take it out and dispose of it in my mom's toilet. And now I'm nearly at Tesco and I still have poop in my bag. Unfortunately, the closest bin was right outside my work, so I put my whole bag in the bin and go to the staff room like nothing happened. I then spent the rest of the day scanning customers' groceries, traumatized about what I'd been up to, and I've had to live with this information all my life and have been too embarrassed to tell anyone. I guess I could have just told my boyfriend I couldn't flush. And didn't
I guess.
I didn't have time to wait for it, but we were still fresh in our relationship, and I couldn't stand the thought of him getting rid of my giant shit while I'm not even there.
That seems like best case scenario.
Feels good to get that off my chest. Sorry for the long read.
I mean, this isn't great of me to say. In that scenario, I would use the litter card.
Am I the asshole for leaving the engagement dinner due to my fiance's obsession with the dog? I, 28 male, proposed recently to my girlfriend, 27 female. We are planning the wedding to happen next year. My fiance has a 5-year-old golden retriever mix. I had a few bad experiences with dogs as a kid. Her dog is very friendly and he gets all the attention from my fiance. She denied some jobs that won't let her work from home as she is worried about the dog. I work from home 3 days a week and she only texts asking how the dog is. I planned this very nice trip last weekend to celebrate our engagement. I booked a nice hotel and made reservations at a nice restaurant. One of our close friends stayed with the dog. My fiance asked her to text with an update every 2 hours, and I did my best to make it a wonderful weekend. We had reservations for 7 p.m. at the restaurant. My fiance didn't get ready until 6:40, as she hadn't heard from the dog sitter. When we arrived at the restaurant, we had to wait 30 minutes for a table to open. When we sat down, my fiance spent the entire dinner on her phone, trying to get a hold of the friend. I paid for the meal and got up from the table, telling her that I was going to wait in the car. She came out about 20 minutes later, screaming at me for leaving her at the table alone. I yelled back that she ruined our engagement trip for putting the dog over us. We sat in silence all the way home, and she's thinking about going to stay with her parents. I'm now being called an asshole for leaving from the restaurant. Am I the asshole?
Maybe.
Am I the asshole for turning around and going back to my parents with my baby when I got home because my husband let his homeless brother move in and everyone had lice?
Oh, God.
I recently went to see my parents with my newborn. It was just for the long weekend, so my husband stayed home with our 3 other children, 7, 5, 3. My husband called me when I was out of town to let me know his brother needed a place to crash. I said that he should give him a ride to a shelter or something because it was a bad idea to let his brother in our home. He has stolen from us before. When I got home, there were 5 very itchy people in the house. I immediately got back in my car and went to my parents' house. My husband was calling me the whole time because he needed help dealing with the lice. I didn't call him back until the baby was settled back in at my folks' place. I told him the pharmacy had the shampoo and comb for lice. He said he needed me to come home and take care of it. I noped. I said that he let his brother in our home against my wishes. His brother gave them all lice. I also reminded him that when our oldest got lice from kindergarten, he didn't help me at all. I hate lice. They freak me out. I dealt with it because I had to. This time, it's on him. He said that he would have to use up his sick days to take care of this. I said, tough. He did it. He took his brother to a shelter. He deliced himself and the kids, and then he spent 3 days cleaning all the bedding and the furniture. He called me every day begging for help. I did not come home until his mother confirmed that everything was done. He is pissed that I stuck him with all of that by himself. I know I should have helped, but it was too much. I'm still not 100% from having the baby. It was just too much. Am I the asshole?
Interesting.
I mean, she just had a baby.
Newborn.
I don't necessarily think she's the arsehole, but I can understand why she may have had some arsehole tendencies in that situation. I'm in agreement with her. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm like 80% in agreement with her. You lost me on the 3 days.
Yeah, that's spun
If I'm
me.
taking care of it,
Yeah.
he's in the shelter, I've deloused everyone,
Yeah.
I'm doing this, and it's taken me 3 days, and I haven't seen my newborn baby,
Yeah.
I would be a bit like, bae.
Yeah, this is an arsehole. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an arsehole move, but I can also understand why she did what she did.
You keep saying 3 days, and now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, why did it take him so long?
Yeah, fuck knows why it took him so
Yeah.
long.
That's a long time.
Like, you just throw the stuffed animals in a bag, wash the stuff in
I'm not
hot
sure.
water.
I'm not sure.
Why did it take him so long?
Yeah, I have no idea. He must have
probably
got...
flastered with everything. Flastered.
Or-
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Or he didn't start until day 2 because he assumed she would come home and take care of it.
Ooh,
Maybe.
you're playing 3D chess now.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow, okay.
Maybe.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Yeah, thought she'd cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'd cave.
Yeah.
Fucked around and found out.
Yeah, that one, yeah. If that is the case, then yeah, he did fuck around and find out.
Am I the asshole for refusing to listen to my mother-in-law's speech on my wedding? So I hate speeches. I never understood the appeal. I think they are boring, exhausting, and very, very forced.
What?
But having said that, this is just my opinion, and I never forced it on anyone.
Fair.
I have sat through long, excruciating speeches without complaining, like any other decent human being. When it was my turn to get married, however, I requested no speeches. We wrote that we loved everyone and that we knew they loved us. So if you wanted to say something, say it directly to us in private. My husband thought it was funny, but he knew my feelings about speeches. We had a small wedding with only loved ones, a weekend long. My husband loves games, so the wedding planner did a really great Taskmaster type of game, and everyone appreciated it. Dinner came, and mother-in-law stood up and started by saying, quote, "I know we are forbidden to make speeches by the bride, but this is my only son getting married, so I will say what I want to."
No, the fuck you won't.
I didn't hear the rest because I was seeing red. My sisters and bridesmaids were shocked. I pretended like she wasn't talking and continued my conversation with my girls.
Oh my God.
They did the same.
Oh my God.
Mother-in-law was furious. Both sister-in-laws were furious, and my husband was very angry that it showed in his profile. He refused to even look at me. The rest of the night was awkward.
The rest of your wedding night was awkward?
My husband's side was sulking in their seats. I wanted to make sure it wasn't ruined for the rest of us, and we ended up having a blast. Next day, I spent it with my family and friends. My husband said that I was very wrong in what I did. I couldn't force mother-in-law to shut the fuck up, and he knew she wouldn't no matter how much we told her. I shouldn't have disrespected and humiliated her like this. Our marriage started on the wrong foot, it seems. Am I the asshole?
Damn. You're an adult. You know that ignoring and blatantly tuning out somebody's speech and having a sidebar conversation is disrespectful, regardless of the context. It's just a mean thing to do. It's a petty thing to do. Why start off your marriage and your new family like that?
Am I the asshole for moving my roommate's insulin out of the way? So my 27 male roommate, 23 female, is a type 1 diabetic, and she stores her insulin in the refrigerator. I decided to throw a huge surprise party for my best friend, 28 male, this weekend. I knew the party would be a massive hit, and I was super excited to see the look on his face when he walked in. To make the party unforgettable, I ordered a giant custom-made ice cream cake, which needed to be kept in the fridge. When I got home with the cake, I realized there wasn't enough room in the fridge for it. My roommate wasn't home, so I couldn't ask her if I could rearrange her stuff. I saw her insulin, and I thought it would be no big deal if I took it out for a few hours while the party was going on, just to make room for the cake. I mean, I didn't think she would need it during the party, since she wasn't even invited. Anyways, my roommate came home unexpectedly during the party, noticed her insulin was missing, and absolutely freaked out. She started yelling at me in front of all of my guests, making a scene and totally ruining the vibe. She went on this whole rant about how this type of insulin spoils quickly at room temperature or something, and she made a big scene of throwing it all out. I looked it up, and I'm 90% sure she's exaggerating. She had to take some emergency insulin she keeps in her room and left the party visibly upset. Now, everyone's telling me I'm the asshole for taking her insulin out of the fridge, even though it was only for a few hours. I think she overreacted, and it's not my fault she came home early. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for calling my fiance delusional for wanting me to let his mom pick my makeup/look for the wedding? My fiance and I are getting married. He comes from a conservative family, and his mom has been up in the wedding planning, posing as supervisor to oversee and to, quote, catch and eliminate anything that could be seen as offensive. After the wedding dress fiasco, I was told to get a dress that wasn't showing too much skin. Next came the makeup issue. I showed my fiance some looks I wanted to choose from, and he gasped and said his mom would have a stroke if she saw these. I, in frustration, asked, what should I do? And next thing I knew, but did not expect, was for her to send me looks of models with almost no makeup or very light makeup. No eyeshadow, no glowy lipstick, just ... plain look. I refused to choose from any of her suggestions, and we had an argument. My fiance came home and argued about how I'm planning on humiliating him and his family at the wedding by wanting to look like a, quote, clown and make a joke out of both of us. I snapped and called him delusional to think I'll let his mom get a say in what makeup I should wear since it's my face. He said there's no such thing as mine and yours in marriage, and that I'm clearly too immature for it. He has been avoiding me while saying, quote, you know why I'm avoiding you. And his mom sent a text about how she has my best interests at heart.
Oh.
Am I the asshole?
Are you kidding me?
Am I the asshole for explaining to a man who refused to mind his business what happens in graphic detail if I drink regular cow's milk in my latte? I had some tests to run at my local hospital today. In the hospital is a coffee place. It isn't Starbucks, but it's a local place that has a few locations in my area. When I was all done with my medical stuff, I decided to treat myself to a coffee. I got in a long line behind a man that I noticed kept muttering about something. I noticed every time someone in front of him ordered a coffee with some sort of plant milk, he would mutter louder. Finally, he was up to order. He looked around and loudly said, I want a regular drip coffee with real milk, not this frou-frou bullshit everyone drinks these days. The barista rolled her eyes and got his coffee. He was standing nearby messing with his drink or something. I ordered a latte with oat milk. I was kind of waiting for him to say something, but I wasn't officially instigating because I always get oat milk. This guy looks at me and says, "You know that's not milk, right?" I said, "Yeah, I know." He then says, "It won't kill you to drink regular milk, right? It's good for you." Now, here's where I might be the asshole. I said, quote, "Yeah, it won't kill me, but I don't want to Hershey squirt all the way home. I don't want to shit myself right now until there is nothing left in my stomach. So if you don't mind, I will take my oat milk latte and not shit myself. Thanks."
How is that an asshole?
The guy threw his coffee away and left.
Good. Bye, bitch.
The barista was in shock. Now I feel bad, and my husband said it was kind of uncalled for,
No.
but he also laughed so hard when I told him. I get so annoyed when people decide they have some sort of out-of-pocket thing to say to me.
Absolutely.
Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my sister's wedding dress after she ruined mine? Hey Reddit, longtime lurker, first-time poster. This situation has been eating me up, and I'd really appreciate some outsider perspectives. So my 28 female, sister, 26 female, and I have had our ups and downs, as most siblings do. However, we've been really close the past few years, and I was so excited to have her as my maid of honor for my wedding last year. Flashback to my wedding day. I had this beautiful dress that I spent a fortune on. After the ceremony and during the reception, I noticed some red wine had been spilled on the bottom of my dress. I was devastated. I later found out from a bridesmaid that my sister had accidentally knocked over her wine glass when she was trying to take a funny photo. She didn't come forward about it and didn't even apologize when I confronted her. Fast forward to now. My sister is getting married and she's fallen in love with a dress that's way out of her budget. She asked if I'd help her pay for half of it as her wedding gift. I flat out refused. I brought up how she ruined my dress and didn't take responsibility, and I feel like I shouldn't have to contribute towards hers. Now my family is divided. Half of them think I'm being petty and that I should let go of past grudges. The other half think I'm justified. So, am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my sister's wedding dress after she ruined mine?